beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that I've been given the pleasure to introduce myself to you, I'm Vanessa and I, and welcome to the fam. So as we have already established by the title, today we're going to be tuning into you, but the future you. So we're going to be looking at important messages that your future self has for you. So in order to help you figure out what your future self has to say to you right now, I have prepared 4 groups that you may choose from. So how this video works is that you pick one of these 4 crystals, one of these 4 cards, whichever one that you feel the most drawn to. And I just want to put it out there that you can in fact feel drawn to multiple groups, and if that is the case for you, then feel free to tune into multiple readings, because your personal messages, they may be a mixture between multiple groups. So the crystals are as follows. We have the Aragonite, we have the Shiva Lingam, we have the Azurite, as well as the Black Obsidian. The timestamps are down below in the description box, as well as pinned to the comment section for quick, easy access so you can fast forward to your corresponding reading. And if you're new to my channel and you enjoyed your reading, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, as well as follow me on my Instagram to stay connected. And for all my existing little unicorns, I just wanted to say how grateful I am to have each and every one of you on my channel. I know that things have changed tremendously. There have been so many more beautiful souls joining the family, and it truly warms my heart that no matter how quickly our community grows, it seems like we still have that connection, which is what is the most important thing for me and my channel. So thank you guys all so much for constantly being positive, engaged, as well as just motivated. You guys are truly amazing and you inspire me each and every day. So anyways, you guys, enough of my cheesy intro. Let's get into the reading so we can spend more time within the individual groups. So I'm going to be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Aragonite. And to all the other groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Aragonite, group number 1, and I want to get straight into your reading to figure out exactly what messages that your future self has for you. So let's see what we have here. Vibration. So your future self wants you to focus on your vibration right now. Your future self wants you to look into how you can heighten your vibration and bring it to a whole nother level. So let's figure out exactly how we're going to tackle this, how we're going to improve where we are on a vibrational level. So we have the throat portal as well as sanctuary. So in the throat portal, I see here that it is so important for you, group number 1, to speak your truth and also to just like express yourself in an adequate way. Because if you suppress your throat portal, your throat chakra, it becomes clogged. It stops your vibration from flowing through your body evenly and in a way how you can actually make use of good vibrations. So know that your throat chakra could be blocked. It could be in need of a little bit of extra TLC. So it's so important for you to, as I said, speak your truth. Always make sure that you're sticking to what you believe in, okay? Never allow anybody to make you feel like your beliefs are inadequate or like they're not valid. So those beliefs could be, of course, your religious views, your spiritual views. Maybe you feel very strongly about something that has to do with human rights, with rights for children, people who aren't able to sustain a life the way you and I are. And it's so important for you to stick to what it is that you believe in and tell other people exactly what they can do in order to help, instead of allowing them to just say, well, you know, I'm just one person, what can I possibly do? I mean, of course there is power in numbers, but at the same time, we have to remember that each one of us can have a really big impact if we just allow ourselves to. But of course, if everybody were to say, oh, well, you know, I can't stop eating meat, or I'm not going to donate anything ever because my contribution would be so little, it wouldn't make a difference in the big picture. Of course, then things would just continue as they were. So we all have to make that conscious change and to remember that we're all interconnected. Then in the sanctuary, I want you to know that your vibration can be raised through taking a little bit of time to restore your powers. So maybe it's because of this time of the year, or you're just generally going through a phase where you're exerting a lot of energy. So now is a great time for you to just retreat to a place that is very comforting. So this does not have to be for a long time. I'm not telling you to go on a 2-week vacation to the Maldives, which of course I would always recommend, but it's not always possible for every one of us, obviously. So one way how you can build a little sanctuary is just to have a little corner, a little space in your house or your room where you display things that you love, pictures of yourself with loved ones, some sort of, crystals, sage, something that smells good, like for instance, a scented candle that just reminds you of good times, that fuels your positive vibration. And spend time in that little sanctuary space. Spend time where you feel like you can truly recharge and meditate and just get yourself back to earth, to ground yourself again from the daily hustle and bustle. But let's move further into your reading group number 1. So we have control. Then we have triggers as well as flow. So how are we going to do this? No. Guys, I am so obsessed with making things aesthetically pleasing. If you have not yet noticed, that is just one thing that I truly like and appreciate. So we have flow, triggers, and control, as already mentioned. One thing that I want you to know here is that your flow is being disrupted by triggers in your life. That is what your future self wants you to look out for. So there are triggers that you are maybe blissfully unaware of, or that you do not want to sort of like admit to yourself that they really are triggers. So this could be how your friends and family maybe address your relationship situation or your job situation. This could be how you feel whenever you look in the mirror. You may feel displeased with a certain area of your body, or you may feel as though something is just not the way it is. And I want you to allow yourself to take that control back, okay? Control is a very crucial part here in raising your vibration, as well as getting to a point where the flow can be where it needs to be, because that is really what your chakras are about. That is really what your vibration is about. A nice even flow through your body where it's not getting clogged up at any one of, your chakras, your 7 different main chakras. So I want you to know here that in order to get this flow back going, as I said, take back control, make sure that the triggers, that you either eliminate your exposure to the triggers or you sort of like diminish the triggers. So if you look in the mirror and you don't like your belly, your thighs, your feet, your toes, I don't know what it is, okay? We always find something that we don't like for some reason. I don't know why humans do this, but we do. So allow yourself to take the time to just appreciate that area of your body for what it is. For instance, if you don't like your stomach, remind yourself that it is such a vital place, it is such a vital part of your body that you could not live without. It serves a purpose. And just seeing it as purposeful and seeing it as something that serves you usually already gets us to a space where we're like, okay, maybe I don't dislike you that much. And then when you look at things that are shallow, when you look at things that just have to do with appearances, know that you have the control to do something about it many times. And what you need is discipline. What you need is to make sure that you're not just beating yourself up for something that you either don't have control over or that you do have control over, that you're maybe too lazy to do something about it, or you're sort of procrastinating it. So learn to accept yourself the way you are. That is what your future self wants you to know. Or then, if you feel as though it is something that you would like to change, put in the time, the effort, the research to do so. So you can finally move on from being triggered by certain situations, because constantly being triggered just sort of like trains your mind to get used to disliking that part of yourself, or just exploding at, say, somebody mentioning the fact that they don't think that your partner is the right one for you. Obviously, this is just an example. It could be something completely different that makes you fly off the handle instantly. So know that the more you practice that behavior, the more you become that behavior, and the more it takes over your life. And your future self wants you to get rid of that, as your future self can see that it's no good for you right now. Then we have the Ace of Feathers the 8 of feathers, the page of crystals, as well as the 10 of crystals. So we have an even distribution here of crystals as well as feathers. So we have earth energy and air energy. So you seem to have some sort of good balance when it comes to that, or there may be a good balance of people in your life of both of these signs that have a positive impact on you each and every day. So first and foremost, in the page of crystals, I want you to know that your future self is here to tell you that there is some really cool idea brewing within you that may have to do with how you can save time, how you can make more money or become healthier, or as we spoke about, love each and every little piece of you a whole lot more. So it's important for you to have the discipline to follow through with it. It's important for you to not allow any great ideas pass you by just because you feel like you don't have time, or you feel like it's not going to work out anyways, or maybe the space is oversaturated. So know that of course, the world is a oversaturated market, but at the same time, there's so many people to cater to, especially if starting up a business is something that you're interested in. So in the 10 of crystals, I want you to know that, of course, keep the stability that you have. If you're working a job right now where you have, a fixed income each and every month, allow yourself to work on things while you're at that job. The same goes for being at school. If you know that you would like to be an entrepreneur, make time in the midst of studying, of course, if you can, and make time to already look into it, but don't give up what's already going on. That is one thing that your future self wants you to know, because there is such a big learning curve to just not overcome. There's a big learning curve for you to come. There's a lot of new experiences that might shake you to the core that do have to do with your career, and your future self doesn't want you to get rid of everything that you already know, because that will give you stability through the times where you're still figuring things out. Then we have the Ace of Feathers. So in the Ace of Feathers, I see a new beginning mentally where you will all of a sudden realize how you can make things work a lot more smoothly for you. So the Ace of Feathers just is not only a fresh beginning, but it also shows you maybe being a little bit naive, but naive in a good way. Have you ever seen somebody who didn't know anything about an industry and just thought to themselves, wow, I'll just make something happen here. I'm sure it'll work out. And guess what? They were successful. When everybody else told them that they couldn't do it, that they didn't have the experience, or that the space was too oversaturated, too big, or their idea was too crazy, they proved everybody wrong and went forward to be the greatest of their time. So a really amazing example is, for instance, J.K. Rowling. I mean, how many times was that woman shot down and told that her books could not be published, and look at her now. So in the 8 of Feathers, I want you to know that you need courage, okay? That is what the 8 of Feathers is about. You need that mental courage to not stop at no. Just because you have received a no at some point in your life doesn't mean that that is a no for eternity. Keep in mind that you have to go through a lot of no's in order to receive that one yes that changes your life completely. So don't think that the solution is to just try something else because something didn't work out, or somebody told you that they don't think they can help you, and so on and so forth. There is always a way to do what it is that you want to accomplish, but you have to stick to it. It is not going to work out for you if you just allow people to knock you down on the first go, or the second go, or the third go. You have to keep trying, you have to keep believing. And I want you to know that a lot of people who are really successful have been salespeople, or people who have been trying to put their idea forward, who were shot down many, many times, and a lot of other people would have given up way before they did, which, they of course did not give up. That is why they're so successful. And that is what makes that difference. That is what puts you in that 0.001% that actually gets to the top, that actually is able to accomplish everything that they have set their mind to. So group number 1, this is the reading that I received for you from your future self. I truly hope that you found it inspiring and motivating, and that it maybe gave you peace of mind to carry on doing the things that you're passionate about. Let me know down below in the comment section what really hit home and what really inspired you, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Shiva Lingam group number 2, and I absolutely love this gem. It's kind of like in the form of a pill, which of course I'm not judging that you chose the stone group number 2. But let's move into your reading to figure out exactly what messages that your future self has for you. So your future self wants you to know that you have the answers within. One thing that I see that is very important for you to know, group number 2, is the fact that all of the things that you've been searching for, all of the solutions, the answers, sort of like the ideas that you've wanted to come forth, you have them within you. All you need to do is tune into this portal. You need to tune into your portal of mental clarity as well as the portal of your heart. So don't look so much around you and just outside of who you are for the answers that you need in order to move forward. Know that you have them within, and know that you need to channel them in order to be able to find that inner calm, that inner equilibrium, if you will. Then we have sincere relationships. So if you feel a little unloved, group number 2, if you feel recently as if you're kind of like the black sheep or the odd one out, sometimes you can maybe also doubt whether your friends, your family even like you. And I know this sounds super crazy, but let's be real. That is a very, very real fear and concern. And it's something that a lot of us have to deal with. But I want you to know that they are sincere. I want you to not allow that to be yet another challenge that is in the way for you to reach success and happiness, because honestly, it's just BS. Let's just say it like that, okay? I'm just a very honest, direct person, and I will just tell you right now, your friends, your family are completely honest and sincere. They love you, they care about you, they want the best for you, and it is something that you need to stop worrying about, whether they truly care, whether they truly like you, or they're truly proud about you, okay? Everybody who is in your life supporting you is there because they want to. Then we have negativity. So your future self wants you to banish negativity. Your future self can see that there is maybe a little bit more negativity in your life than you really need, group number 2. And negativity is something that we all deal with, and it is something that we can pick up like along the way. And by that, I mean, when you come in contact with certain people at your school, at work, wherever it is that you go out to, maybe it's even just while running errands, there could be somebody who makes a nasty comment, and that sticks with you not only for the day, but maybe for even weeks and months, and you may remember it years later. So I want you to know that this type of negativity that you can pick up along the way that is sort of not happening directly in correlation to one of your relationships, but just by somebody that you don't know. Keep in mind that there are so many people who are having an awful day, who have maybe lost somebody very close in their life, or who have gone through something that has made them sort of like bitter. And of course, that does not excuse that kind of behavior, and we're not here to excuse any mean behavior. But what it should put in your mind is to remember that you don't know what somebody is going through, and that there's probably something within them that made them act that way towards you, and that you should feel compassion towards them and hope that they get to a point where they don't feel the need to do that. Because group number 2, it is very true, it is a very accurate statement that hurt people hurt people. And that is one thing that your future self wants you to keep in mind right now. Then we have the 9 of crystals. So in the 9 of crystals, your future self wants you to know that there is more abundance coming towards you, but it's important for you to not spend frivolously as soon as you get that abundance. Oh, what is happening with my voice? What is happening with my speech? It's so important for you to make sure that you don't just go out and buy some new luxury item or something that you don't really need just because you received a little bit of an extra paycheck or things have been going good recently. Your security is still very important, and every little bit helps and every little bit counts, because in a year, 2 years from now, you will wish that you would have not spent the money that you spent right now, because it starts to build up, you know, the little Starbucks here, the little eating out there, even though you had something in the fridge, it starts to like accumulate to quite a big heap of money that you maybe could have spent on something bigger, on something that could have actually made you money, or just given you a little bit more peace of mind. So Be resourceful with what you already have. That is what your future self wants you to do, as well as make sure that you're building something for the future instead of just spending now. Moving further into your reading, we have the 8 of Acorns. So in the 8 of Acorns, there is definitely a lot of energy here that is driven in order to create results. But your future self wants you to know that if you have any sort of hiccups along the way that do have to do with negativity, that do have to do with somebody else maybe almost purposely sabotaging a situation for you, you have to just remember to keep your eyes on the prize, okay? Your answers lie within, and engaging in anybody's negativity and anybody's self-loathing is definitely not what you are going to be doing right now, group number 2. I will not allow it, okay? You have to continue focusing on what you truly desire and just go after those results. Do not focus on what you need to do in order to get those results, but focus on just getting to the results, okay? Don't focus on the how, focus on just doing it. Then we have attachment as well as reflective truth. So in attachment, I want you to know here that your future self feels like you have to let go of things, okay? You may be clinging on way too much to clothes that you never wear, that you don't need, or maybe just things, you know, possessions of the earthly realms that are cluttering where it is that you live, where it is that you spend a lot of time. So if you look around you right now, are there things that you can get rid of that you are somehow emotionally attached to? And this is a thing, group number 2. You can be very attached emotionally to material things. And yes, it is completely fine if it's, for instance, a family heirloom, or if it is something that you will be using again or that has some sort of use. But there comes a time and a place and a certain amount of disorganization and clutter where you have to let go. And that is one thing that I see in attachment, okay? Make sure that you get rid of stuff that you don't need, that doesn't serve a purpose, or that you don't even really like that much anymore. And in reflective truth, I want you to know that this can open a new version of yourself. This can open the gateway to a new kind of identity that you have for yourself, because having a lot of things around you that you don't resonate with, that just aren't you anymore, that is going to cloud your judgment of yourself, as well as just your entire vibration. Your entire emotional state is going to be affected by this, okay? Just being around things like, for instance, clothing or furniture or just random knickknack items that you look at and it's not really you, but you don't want to get rid of it because maybe you think it's not worth throwing it away because it may come in handy, or you got it as a gift. And those are just things that are keeping you from just your highest good, that are keeping you from accomplishing more because you're still stuck in who you used to be, and you deep down inside, you know that you don't need these things, you know that they're not going to come in handy again, and it is just important for you to get rid of it because everything holds a vibration. If that is a vibration that you don't resonate with, there is friction always around you. So get rid of any kind of vibrational friction. Then we have transformation as well as the solar portal. So in transformation, I definitely see here that your future self wants you to start to prepare to expect the unexpected. And in the solar portal, I want you to try and be centered, because there could be some sort of manipulation going on in your life right now that you don't even notice. So manipulation by media, manipulation by people around you who are trying to pretend like they want to strike a good deal with you or do a good deed, but what they actually want is maybe just more information for you, is maybe just for you to do something for them that only benefits them, okay? For selfish reasons. That is why somebody is trying to get closer to you. So I want you to know here that that is one thing that you can avoid by just basically really tuning into your intuition, because usually you already have some sort of feeling, usually you already have something that tells you that something ain't right, you know, like something is just off about a situation. And allow yourself to just believe in this, because there are bigger things going on for you, group number 2. There's some sort of metamorphosis here. There's some sort of unexpected transformation where you're going to change from who you are now to just somebody who is more detached from things, somebody who allows themselves to just identify with who they are at the core, at their soul, and you don't allow things, earthly possessions, clothes, to distinguish where you're going in life or to sort of have a say in who you are. You say who you are, and it's very important for you to know here in the solar portal that you have to be centered, that you have to find that point where you're very self-confident, where you know that if something feels right, it's probably best to stay away from it and to not allow manipulation to be a part of your life and of your everyday sort of function. So manipulation is one thing that can be very painful, especially if it is somebody who is close to you and they think that they're not manipulating you, they think that they're doing what's best for you, but actually it is manipulation. And you have to come to the realization that this may be something that is going on in your life, not out of a malicious place, but out of just like a place where the person doing this manipulation doesn't even realize it. But you have to put a halt to it. No matter whether they mean it good or bad, you do not need that energy in your life right now. And that is definitely one thing that correlates to the negativity group number 2, this sort of manipulation that is around you and that is causing you to maybe think differently, act differently, and just not get to where you want to get in an efficient amount of time. So get rid of that group number 2. You don't need that. And there's a reason why you tuned into this reading and why your future self wants you to know this. So group number 2, I truly hope that you found this reading insightful and that it gave you the motivation to adjust a few things in your life. Let me know down below what really hit home, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello group number 3 and welcome to your reading. So group number 3, you chose the Azurite, and I want to get straight into the messages from your future self. So let's see what your future self has to say to you right now. We have grateful. Your future self wants you to be grateful. Your future self wants you to tune into your attitude of gratitude. So maybe recently you've been complaining a little much, or maybe you've been a little unhappy with a situation that is really not as bad as you're maybe making it out to be. And your future self wants you to cut the crap, group number 3. And I'm not trying to be hard on you, but we are honest on this channel. And that is what your future self is trying to communicate with you. There's no time to play around. There's no time to beat around the bush. Be grateful for what you have and move on with your life with any sort of challenge that is putting you in a bad headspace, because you don't need that. You have bigger fish to fry, group number 3. Then we have hydrate. So group number 3, have you been drinking enough, or why did hydrate show up in your reading? Are you sure you're drinking the recommended daily amount? Are you sure you're eating foods that leave your body feeling hydrated, feeling sort of like plump and lush, that is really giving your skin and your cells the elasticity that they require or that would be good for them? I mean, not trying to judge you, but you should maybe take a little sip of water if you can right now. So if you feel like you've been a little dehydrated, dehydrated in the sense of not having enough liquids in your body, then make sure that you replenish that. Make sure that you get yourself to a point where you're healthy, where you're drinking enough, and where you're in a headspace where you can prioritize putting the right nutrients within your body. But hydration may also have to do with the emotional realms. Water corresponds deeply to emotions, and maybe you have to tune into that portal a little more. Maybe you've been a little too cold, a little bit too on the analytical side, and your future self wants you to be a bit more emotionally open to situations. Then we have the 10 of acorns as well as the 10 of feathers. So I see completion here. Acorns, we have responsibility as well as dedication. So you're definitely on a new level right now, group number 3, than you were a few months ago. I see that your dedication towards a certain cause is on an all-time high, and now it is and now is the time for you to look for another cause to dedicate time to dedicate a little bit more of your energy towards. So maybe you've dedicated a lot of your time and you've been very responsible when it comes to siblings, your children, your parents, your job, maybe your education, and you fulfilled something really big that you needed to fulfill in that area, and now you have to look to something else. And in the 10 of feathers, I want you to know that this is definitely an area of life where you can be of service to other people, where you can help other people in some way, shape, or form. And you're going to do this through using your words very wisely. So it could be that you want to write something, that you want to maybe create a song, or you may be teaching something or being able to show somebody how to do something in life, like teach somebody a life skill that will help them for years and years to come. So I want you to know here that things have to change, okay? In the 10 of Feathers, there is a transformation ahead, and it has to do with where you allow your time to flow. Group number 3, that is basically what I was trying to say. So let's see what else that your future self has to say to you. We have the 6 of Acorns as well as the 2 of Feathers. Okay, so we have an even amount here of feathers as well as acorns. So feathers correspond to air signs, acorns correspond to fire signs. So you may have a very even distribution of that kind of energy around you right now, or that is sort of like the energy that would benefit you. So if you have air signs around you, fire signs around you, know that their energy right now is very compatible with yours. In the 6 of Acorns, I want you to know that success is coming your way. That is what your future self wants to communicate with you. And in the 2 of Feathers, it's very important for you to continuously make decisions. So success is in your realms, group number 3, but there's still a few steps that you have to take towards success. And the way how you can do that is to make sure that you don't procrastinate and that you don't not make decisions out of fear, because indecisiveness is literally like the older brother of procrastination. It's literally the younger sister of fear, okay? They go together as a family, and where one is, the other one usually follows. And it's important for you to realize that. It's important for you to realize that all of these things that are holding you back are sort of like entwined into one big cloth, into one big sort of substance. So usually, you know, they don't have their own little category. They all work together as a very strong force, which is why sometimes procrastination can feel so heavy and so big. Sometimes fear can feel like something that you cannot overcome, because a lot of these different emotions, a lot of these different feelings and blockages come together. And as you know, there is power in multiple forces pairing up, and that is exactly what can happen here. So your future self wants you to realize that and to make sure that you continuously make decisions in order to continuously move forward, to not be able to allow yourself to procrastinate, and to make sure that you're constantly at a point where you're facing fears, but the decisions, because you make them so often, aren't that big anymore, because you're cutting them down into little chunks. So you're not even realizing how much you're really combating your fears. You're basically just in a state of doing. Then we have the 3rd eye portal as well as trust. So your future self wants you to trust in your intuition, okay? That is one thing that is very clear here. Your future self also wants you to know that you have a tendency to have this sort of clairvoyance. I want you to know here that that may confuse you, because being clairvoyant, being somebody who just believes and trusts in their intuition, can sometimes bring you to a point where you doubt yourself, and it can sometimes bring you to a point where you have a lot of insecurities about that, especially if you feel like you've been led astray. But your future self wants you now to trust in whatever is going on in your body, and whatever emotions that you feel are pushing you towards a certain path or outcome, because it is in fact the right journey for you. Then we have the higher perspective as well as inspirational creation. So your future self wants you to focus on things that have to do with passion projects. Okay, we have acorns here, as well as this inspirational creation, where innovation is one thing that you can now channel. Trying out something new and discovering a new sort of hobby, a new thing that you're really good at. And in the higher perspective, I want you to allow yourself to come to this point where you feel this unity with yourself, the things that you're good at, as well as knowing that you don't have to be perfect at them, where you feel like everything that you're doing here is for a higher cause. Everything that you're trying, everything that comes to a point where you're being innovative and doing something new just allows you to transcend from where you are now to a higher self, to a higher being, where you're unafraid to do new things, where you're unafraid to fail as well as unafraid to be imperfect. Because everything goes together. When you're not afraid to try something like, for instance, drawing, even though you can't draw to save your life, that allows you to build the confidence to know, okay, I may not be great at this, but I'm trying it, it feels good, and I'm able to create something new. And maybe the skills that I acquire, or the sort of meditative state that I'm in while I'm creating, while I'm drawing, while I'm singing, that can then help me in another area of life immensely, even though maybe in the moment of journaling, singing, drawing, I may have not been the best at it, I may have not been the best at it in that point of time, but that is not what I'm looking to. I'm looking to just raise my vibration and become better as a whole. So that is one thing that your future self wants you to see. Then we have attachment as well as releasing. So you have to release any form of attachment that you have right now to your fears, to whatever it is that makes you indecisive. Your future self feels as though your indecisiveness is coming from a place where there is a lot of doubt in your capabilities, but by letting go of that, by releasing that, you're able to spiritually cleanse and purify yourself, as well as just get to a space where this sort of defensiveness that you may have will drop. So right now, maybe when people criticize you, you become very defensive, and you maybe don't necessarily tell them that you feel really defensive about it, but that's just how you feel, group number 3. And you have to let go of that by letting go of this attachment of being afraid to fail. Because as soon as you just allow yourself to not be so defensive, that is when you can actually make big improvements, because you're now ready to hear how you can improve. You're ready to hear other people's wisdom, other people's experiences, and just tips and tricks on how you can truly improve. So be more open-minded when it comes to that, and let any sort of walls or guards fall down, group number 3. So group number 3, this is a reading that I received for you from your future self. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that it gave you more insight as well as motivation. Let me know down in the comment section what really hit home for you, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Black Obsidian, group number 4. So we have the same vibe today, okay? Because I got a Black Obsidian crystal point in my bottle. So let's do a little close-up. The Black Obsidian is just such a gorgeous, shiny, shiny gemstone. I absolutely love it and adore it. And that is why I've been using its healing powers recently within my water. It is a very protective stone, as well as a stone that helps detoxify the body and mind. So maybe a little sign from your future self that that is one thing that you should focus on as well. But let's move into your reading to figure out a lot more details, shall we? So we have alternatives. So one thing that I see here is that your future self wants you to know that there is another alternative out there. So maybe in love or your personal life, maybe in your career, you've been feeling like you've hit sort of like a dead-end road. You've been feeling like you've gotten to a point where you almost don't know how to improve, what you can do to get to that next level. So you know that the next level exists. You know that there is something out there that you can do better, but you don't know what. And your future self wants you to know that it is probably best for you to take a very alternative route, that there's no point in you just trying to be what people want you to be, okay? You have a very unconventional side to you, group number 4, and your future self wants you to express that and to use that to your advantage. Because when you're sort of trying to dim down this alternative side of yourself, when you're trying to say to yourself that, oh, I should probably do it how everybody else does it, or how people expect me to do it, that is when you're not doing things as well as you could. Because what is all the potential that is really slumbering inside you lies in you doing it your way, and you doing it in a very alternative fashion. So make sure that you don't deprive yourself of that, group number 4. Then we have commit to happiness. as well as kindness. So group number 4, I see here that your future self wants you to engage more in just being happy as well as being more kind, okay? So you might already feel like you're a very nice person. You might already feel like you're somebody who is relatively happy, but group number 4, I still see a lot of room for improvement here for you, and your future self sees that as well. So yes, you may be kind, but at the same time, there is still more that you can do, and your future self wants you to engage with that. Your future self wants you to know that these two things sort of go together. The more you give and the more you're able to do things for other people, the more you will feel happy, you know, the more you will feel as though you're accomplished, like you have accomplished something and like you're doing something good in this world. So allow yourself to spend more time doing work where you're helping others. So maybe you want to donate some money if you don't have a lot of time if you don't have a lot of time to spare from your work as well as just generally your day-to-day life. If you can help out somewhere in a shelter, an animal shelter, or just any other place where you can help people in need, that is one thing that your future self wants you to focus on right now. Then we have the 9 of acorns, the 3 of acorns, the Queen of acorns, as well as the High Priestess. So group number 4, you have very fiery energy here around you. So you may be of a fire sign, or fire sign energy may be just basically what your future self wants you to focus on right now. And in the 9 of acorns, I see here that you have a lot of power within you, but you have to like persevere, okay? You have to make sure that you don't give up as soon as the road gets rocky. Look at the big picture. That is what the 3 of acorns is trying to communicate. And in the Queen of acorns, I want you to know that there are many creative ways how you can get to this sort of alternative side of yours that you may have tuned out from for a very long time, and now you're not used to it anymore. And there may be various reasons for that. Maybe you were teased or bullied or made fun of for being different, but you have to now see the big picture and to try and make sure that you tune back into that side by allowing yourself to be as unconventional as you want to be. If you want to wear a pink wig to go to the grocery store, wear the pink wig. If you want to wear that crazy outfit or that shirt that says something really fun on it and you're afraid that people will look at you weird, just do it, okay? You need to know that living your life according to your fears, living your life just saying to yourself, I don't want to stick out, I don't want to be the one, I don't always want to be the black sheep, the one that doesn't fit into the crowd. You have to get over that group number 4, and that is what your future self wants you to know. Your future self wants you to see here that at the end of the day, it is so much more valuable to explore each and every part of yourself than to keep yourself confined just to please other people. Because at the end of the day, what is that going to do for anybody? I mean, if you please other people before you please yourself, they're not going to do anything for you. It's not doing anything for you as a person because you don't feel whole. You don't feel like you're doing what you're meant to do. And it's just a lose-lose situation, you know, and you also don't want to continue enabling that kind of behavior in society. We who are alternative, we who are different, group number 4, we have to stick up for who we are. We have to start making it the norm that not everybody is the same, that not everybody will do things the way society expects it to be done. Not everybody will do things the way other people see it as being right. We all have different beliefs. We all have different things that we're good at and that we know we can create. And if going from A to B requires one person to go through spot C and another person through spot D, then that's how it is. At the end of the day, if you end up on point B, why should anybody care? You know what I'm saying? Especially at work, I feel like there is this kind of culture where, yeah, people say that you should just get the work done and then they're happy as long as you get it done right. But at the same time, they're still not happy with how you're doing it if you're not doing it the way they see it to be right. And I just don't think that we should encourage this false pretending in our society where we're saying, oh, as long as it's done, it's fine. But we're still kind of side-eyeing the person who's doing it in an unconventional way. We have to let go of that and we have to stick up for the underdogs. So then we have the third eye portal. as well as empowerment. So this is exactly what we're talking about, group number 4. You have to empower yourself. This is something that only you can do. This is something that, you know, if you wait for somebody else to do it for you, you may be waiting an entire lifetime and you may be wasting an entire lifetime. So keep in mind here that empowering yourself is something that is liberating. It's not something that you should be afraid of. But if you're too fearful of it, then maybe you're not quite ready. Maybe you need to give yourself a little bit more time to gain clarity. And that is one thing that your future self wants you to know in the third eye portal. Okay, empowerment is something beautiful, but it has to be done right. You have to be at a point where you're mentally strong enough to still stand up for yourself should people doubt you, should people say things that are maybe less than kind, or should people try to stop you from going down the path that you're trying to go down. So make sure that you allow yourself to gain enough confidence, enough strength, enough of what you need to get through any sort of barriers and anyone doubting you, you know, anybody putting obstacles in your way. Then we have harmonic resolution as well as contemplation. So in contemplation, group number 4, I want you to take time to just contemplate how you're going to take this step to more liberation, because know that you are in control of how liberated you feel, but at the same time, other people can sometimes hold that control a lot more tightly than you had ever realized. And that is one thing that I want you to see here in this harmonic resolution. Your future self wants you to know here that negativity, anger, all of those things that other people may exude towards you when they see that you're feeling liberated, that you're empowering yourself, it can subconsciously or maybe consciously, even if you're somebody who realizes that, put you a few notches down. It can drag you a little further down than you would have been if you would not have come in contact with them. So even though you may feel like you're ready for this empowerment, even when you get to the point where you know, like, okay, I'm ready now to step out into the world and to just be who I am, no matter how alternative and different that is, I want you to know here that you can still hit stepping stones where you feel a little confused, where you feel like your vision is kind of a little bit foggy, where you're at a point where you're like, what do I do now? Or am I doing something wrong? Am I being, am I offending people? And I want you to know that those doubts can creep in or can try to make an appearance, but you just have to retreat back to this point where contemplation, where this inner knowing, silence, meditation is what you engage with in order to get you back to this grounded self, in order to get you back to this point where you truly understand that what you're doing is right. So group number 4, in correlation to the High Priestess, I want you to focus on your intuition. The High Priestess is a very, very intuitive soul, a very intuitive character, and the High Priestess is also not one who is afraid of an outcome that maybe isn't so favorable. So don't allow yourself to be too worried about what could go wrong. Allow yourself to just know that if you're doing what feels right and you're not harming anybody in the process, then that is all that matters, group number 4. Anything else should just float away and should not even be in the realms of your headspace. So group number 4, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. If you did, let me know down below what really hit home, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos.